Take your political theater to Texas.
This is not about political theater.
And it was more political theater than anything.
It's nothing more than pure political theater.
It's pure political theater.
Hello, everyone. I'm coming on here to do a short stream just because I want to talk about No King's Day. Oh gosh. And since you all insist on participating, I just want to give you some advice. Wow, I don't. Oh gosh, hold on one second. All right. So, for those who don't know, let me share my screen. Okay. So, there's these protests. And they are supposed to be taking place this Saturday, October 18th. No king, power belongs to the people, join the movement, all this stuff. You've heard this before. This is not the first time there has been a No Kings protest. They happened before. This one is saying from San Francisco to Sao Paulo, from Rome and Italy, San Juan, all these things. Okay. And people are coming together and they are gathering to protest essentially Donald Trump, which is interesting for the international effect, but I think they're trying to expand it, right? So that it does include the fascist takeovers that are happening in other parts of the world as well, right? Because the world has been moving towards right-wing fascism for some time now. This is not a new thing. Donald Trump is bringing more attention, right? Because Americans barely watch American media or read American newspapers, much less foreign and international publications. So many Americans have not been aware of what's been going on in other countries, right? But it's taking over. They just gave Nobel Peace Prize to a right-wing fascist, right? Who's talking about democracy. No, shut the hell up. You're not talking about democracy. You're talking about the freedom to vote for right-wing extremism. And that's also been happening, right, around the world. The neo-Nazis, we'll call them what they are pretending that their fight is all about freedom and democracy and the right to be bigoted people, right? And I need you to understand that. Like, that is absolutely what's happening, right? They feel that the world has gone woke and all the restrictions that have been placed on them, right? This whole don't tread on me, they consider it restrictions. We consider it freedoms, right? So for them, maintaining white supremacy and them being dominant on top is the way that they want things to be. And they see things like civil rights acts or DEI or anything as a threat to their freedom and their democracy and their right to be bigots. So this is happening all around the world. And that is something that we should all be concerned about, right? Because when these global powers get together, which is really just a bunch of men, many of whom sexually abuse children, allegedly, they just decide how they want the world to go. And we are all susceptible to whatever it is that they want to happen, right? Very much like the Berlin Conference, they came together to divide up the continent of Africa and to claim it for various European nations. And the people who lived there originally had to fight to win their independence back. And unfortunately, by then, the colonization was done because, as we can see in several African nations, the leadership, although African, is corrupt and the military runs a lot of these things. It's just bad. Anyway, bringing it back to the No Kings Day. A lot of you are new to protesting, and we've talked about this before on my show. A lot of you are new to protesting, and that's okay. No one expects you to get it right all the time. Some of you are just now waking up to the ways of the United States. I keep seeing a whole lot of, I don't recognize my country. Well, first of all, it's not your country. Like, nationalism is a plague. Patriotism is weird. This is not your land. you're immigrants to this land, or your families were immigrants to this land, and the only way they were able to come here is by the destruction of the people that were already here and the enslavement of the Africans that built this land, right? So this is not your country. And you saying that you don't recognize your country means that you actually haven't been paying attention to what has been going on in your country, or you slept through history classes, or maybe they didn't teach you any of this, especially if you were born after 1995. The United States has always been racist, sexist, xenophobic, right? Queerphobic, transphobic, everything. It's always been this way, like from day one. The only thing that's really changed a whole lot from the so-called founding fathers is this injection of extreme religiosity, because they were like anti-religion. So this whole like, oh, America is a Christian nation thing, it's complete bullshit that they just made up in their heads within the last 50 years, because that is not what this country was founded on. But anyway, you're waking up and you are realizing like, oh, all those Black people that were talking about the racism that they experienced, they weren't lying. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I didn't believe them. I thought that, they were making themselves victims. I didn't, oh my gosh, they're right. Oh, you tried. We always, we say we tried to tell you, but you don't listen because you're racist too, right? But anyway, the country is going to hell in a handbasket. If I actually believed in hell, I would call it hell. If hell is real, it is the United States right now. Everybody is struggling. Everybody is suffering. All of the systems are out of whack. They are literally destroying the country right in front of our eyes. I'll give you just a personal example. I've been dealing back and forth with some stuff with the IRS that I cannot take care of because they're furloughed and nobody's there to answer the phone, right? So we're talking about systems being completely destroyed because they don't want people to know that they sexually abuse children, allegedly, right? Let me just put my allegedly banner up here because I'm not trying to get in trouble. And when I say these things, I'm saying allegedly. Okay, allegedly. So you want to protest this. You want to stand up against this. You want to fight back against this, right? We've been seeing what's been going on with ICE lately. And I often call them Obama's ICE because ICE would not be what it is right now were it not for President Obama pouring in all of that millions and millions and millions of dollars of funding and expanding them and helping them grow into the group, the arm of terrorist agents that they are. ICE is wreaking havoc on communities, families, destroying lives and stuff like that. And there are people that have been protesting at ICE detention centers. You look at the people in Portland who are wearing these costumes and dancing around like dinosaurs in front of the ICE detention centers, which absolutely does nothing to stop people from being detained at the ICE detention centers. It is just an opportunity for them to get together and just have some fun. And that's pretty much what these No Kings protests are probably going to be. Because remember, the last time they were having festivals and there were bouncy houses and there were face painting for the kids and all these kinds of things. I'm sorry, I hate to inform you that face painting for children is not a protest, okay? It is not a protest against the government. It just makes you feel good, right? And a lot of you don't want to hear this because your first response is, well, it's better than nothing. Actually, no, it's not. It's actually worse. I would rather you do nothing, because when you go and you do these performative things and you call them protests, you are diluting the essence and the nature of protests. Protest is the riot is the language of the people, right? The riot is the language of the people. That's what Dr. King said. Protests are supposed to be riots. They're supposed to fight back, right? They're supposed to be disruptive. They're supposed to make people uncomfortable. The last time you all did the No King's Day, Donald Trump did not give a damn. It did nothing. It did nothing. If anything, it just made things worse because then, he was annoyed and decided to inflict more harm on people. And so they started revving things up. And now we've got the National Guard and the military occupying American cities. So great job. And now you're going to do it again. And this time you're still not going to do anything, right? Because you don't know how to. But here's the advice that I have. Because they're now waiting for you, right? Things have changed. since the last No Kings protest. And you're welcome for that, right? Because the whole king thing, yeah, you're welcome. But now they're ready. Now they've already sent out the Gestapo, right? So in Chicago, in Washington, D.C., in other cities, they have already deployed military there. And you better believe that this Saturday, they're going to be pulling those people out again. And they're going to be there at your festivals and your community meetings and your protests where you're standing with signs on the side of a sidewalk and not even bothering to stop traffic, right? They know that you're going to do that. And the same as last time, they will be there scanning your faces and gathering all of your personal information through biometric scanning. They are going to be people standing next to you who are going to be talking it up with you. And meanwhile, in their pocket is a device that is siphoning all of your personal information and your contacts off of your phone, right? Because you all don't think about how this works. See, I have been involved in this for a very long time, and I know how it works. I no longer go to protests without a gun because I'm not playing with these people. They're not playing with us. They just shot a pastor in the head with rubber bullets at pretty close range. They don't care. This is what fascism is. So here's my advice for those of you that do want to go to these events, right? Some of you may actually be going to some that are going to be disruptive. And shout out to you for doing that, because we always need bodies on the ground and things like that. I'm actually not even talking to you bouncy house people. I'm talking to the people that are actually about to go be disruptive. Please wear masks. Aside from the fact that COVID is spreading again and it is rampant again, and they're not telling us any information because they don't want us to know this. The fact that measles is spreading again throughout the country. Wear a mask for health reasons, but also wear a mask for protection and security. No one should be at these events with their faces out. I happen to sell neck gaiters. You're not going to get them in time, but I have like the neck gaiters that you can wear that cover all the way up to here and come all the way down to your throat. So maybe if you plan on protesting in the future, you go to my store. Wait, should I put the QR code? There's the QR code. You can scan that. Go get some merch. I have the Chinga La Migra ones. I have the Antifa ones. Go and get one. Cover your whole face up. That's great. Why not? Then you want to make sure that you wear protective goggles, okay? Because they are probably going to have tear gas or pepper spray or things like that. I've been seeing videos where they just straight up pepper spraying people right in the face. And here's what you need to understand is that the people that they've hired in recent months many of them are functionally illiterate. Many of them do not qualify for the other jobs. They cannot be police officers because they don't qualify to become police officers. And with so many places that have next to no standards to become police officers, the fact that they cannot qualify for that makes them very dangerous people because they're likely stupid, right? Probably have severe psychological issues, what have you. These are the people who are now working for ICE. These are the people that are now, kind of being deployed, whatever situation is. Okay. They're going to use tactics that they're not supposed to use because they didn't train them. These are not trained people. They go down, they sign up, they give them a uniform, they give them guns, and they send them out there. They have not been training them with anything related to crowd control. So they hired abusers. They hired, like so many of these men that you see, and this is across cultures, they're abusive men. They see the way that they're treating children and women. They want to do this. They signed up because they want to do this, right? So this is what you're going to be up against. So you should wear some goggles, okay? You should wear some goggles to protect your eyes, okay? Bring earplugs, okay? In case they decide that they want to start using those like sound bombs and things like that. Wear some earplugs. Plus, you're going to be around a lot of people and the volume is going to be high. Protect your ears, okay? In terms of your clothing, it is cooler out now, so you should be like covering yourselves up in some places. Excuse me. I went out today and I was like, ooh, it's chilly. That was cool. Wear long sleeve clothing, please. Cover up your legs. Wear like if you have like, what do you call them, long johns. Do young people know what long johns are? wear some tights, things like that underneath your clothes, your external clothes. Make it sure that there are no loops or things that can be grabbed and snagged in case you have to run, in case they're like wrangling people up and things like that. Avoid clothing that has loose pockets and things like that. You don't want to wear big pockets. People can always slide by and slide things into your pockets. They can slide trackers, they can steal, all that kind of stuff. Don't do that. Wear running shoes, comfortable shoes, something in case you have to run. Do not wear heels to a protest. Do not wear cute shoes. First of all, why are you trying to look cute at a protest? Knock it off, Sharon. Okay. Wear bandanas like this. Cover your hair. Pull your hair back. If you have long hair, oh my gosh, please wear, like, keep your hair, like, if it's long like this, don't, you put it in a ponytail, it's so easy to grab, right? You want to wrap your hair up, braid it down, pull it into, you know, something like, take one of these and wrap it up real tight so that nobody can like just wrap their hand around it and pull and yank you. Because I've seen videos of these ICE agents and other folks grabbing and dragging women by the hair. They're not allowed to do this. They don't care. Okay. So protect yourself. Okay. Somebody said in the chat to wear gloves. That's a good idea. For me, it depends, because how comfortable are you manipulating things with gloves, right? And then you may need to quickly call somebody, and sometimes the gloves get in the way of you being able to use your phone and things like that. Boom. Put your phone in airplane mode. Okay. Don't give them the opportunity to connect with it, right? Put it in airplane mode or turn it off. I know a lot of people struggle. They can't live without their phones or whatever, or they want to take pictures. They want to invite, I was at the protest, click, click. No, turn your phone off. Turn your phone off. Okay. Like, you don't need that. Again, you may not think so, but these people will come and siphon your information off of your phone. I'm not making this up. Carry water with you. Make sure you stay hydrated. I've been loving this. I know they're not paying me, so I'm not even gonna put the brand, but you probably recognize. Oh, let me turn that way. I've been drinking the heck out of this. It's been delicious. Carry a water bottle if you can. Also make sure that you research the best ways to treat being sprayed with pepper spray and tear gas. Some people say milk, other people say no. It really all depends on what you think is best for you. But again, if you're wearing goggles, you should be okay. I would also say don't carry any large bags with you. I'm a fanny pack girly. I always keep a fanny pack around my waist, where you keep your essentials there. You don't bring a whole lot of money. Don't bring all your cards and things like that. You definitely want to do that. I know many of you are not going to take this advice. You're not going to listen because you think you know everything. And you think that now that you have shown up to the movements that you're the expert, but you're not. People like me are. Okay. You need to make sure that you're going, and if you don't go alone, but if you must go alone because you lack the community to go to such an event with, can you at least make sure that somebody else knows where you are? Share your location with someone you trust. In the event that ICE grabs you, they can track you, right? Come up with a code or something for that friend, like some kind. If you get a text from me that has these letters or whatever, you know that tension is happening. That'll alert the person to be able to track your phone and track your location and your whereabouts, because ICE has been taking people and just driving them around the cities, taking them and dropping them in back alleys and all kind of stuff, roughing them up on the way over, but not even taking them to the detention centers, not arresting them or anything. This is what they're doing because they enjoy it. They get off on this. Okay. They're acting very much like Chicago PD used to, and probably still does. Okay. So be careful with that. Important phone numbers that you may need. If something happens to you, you can write them on your arm. In case there's somebody you get detained and people are there, they could possibly help you. They could take a picture of the phone number and then they can call someone to give you help. What about Bluetooth-based comms apps like Briar or Bridgify? Are they actually more secure and useful since they work in airplane mode? Are you still traceable in airplane mode? But yes. So I don't use either of those. I don't talk to people like that. I'm starting to become very wary of technology. I don't trust any app. Like a lot of people use Signal, but I don't even trust Signal. I don't believe the Signal is secure. I don't believe WhatsApp is secure. I don't believe any of this stuff. So it's really a matter of what you're comfortable with. I'm just not a fan of having your phone on anymore, like when you're at these kinds of events. And you're saying like memorize the numbers of people who can help. Yeah, I say that as well. But that's in 2 days, people are not really going to be able to do that. I was actually just doing something for my son, and I was like, what the hell is his phone number? This is my kid. I pay the bills on the phone, and I had to sit there like, what is my son's phone number? So it happens. But the reason why I say write it on your arm is that so somebody could take a picture. Because if you shout out the number to somebody, what are they writing it down with, right? So it's very much easier for somebody who will have their phone out, right? Because again, people are not going to listen to what I'm saying. They can take that picture and then they can have that and be able to call or what have you, okay? Locate the people that are there to monitor, right? There's always like protest watchers, there's always media, there's always the lawyers that are there to make sure that people's rights are not being violated. None of this actually really matters anymore, but it might be a good idea to kind of stay close to those folks because they are less likely to bother them. And so you probably will be a little bit safer. I just would avoid the larger crowds, right? Avoid narrow walkways with large crowds. It's very easy to corral people and to pin them in like narrow streets and things like that. They cut off one side, cut off the other, then you all are stuck. Try to avoid those kinds of things. Sometimes people will, they'll have parades. Like the protest will become a parade or a march. I shouldn't say parade. That's messed up. But it's true in some cases. Sometimes a protest will become a march. And just be mindful of where you're walking to. Be mindful. Just keep your orientation and your wits about you. Then remember where you parked your car. If you took a car, please, don't drive to the protest. Wow. If you could take public transportation, please take the public transportation. What else? Have a good meal, because in the event that you are detained, they will not feed you. We have learned from other people who have been detained that they are actually starving people and denying them access to food and water and using the bathroom and things like that. So at least put a meal in you in case that you do get detained, and that way you won't have to like add being hungry on top of all of that. Check in with your people throughout time, like every 20 minutes or so, making sure that you're checking in the people that you came with, making sure that those are the people that you leave with, right? Leave nobody behind. This is really not going to be relevant to most of this shit because you all are not going to be protesting. But if you want to get down and dirty, you want to be a rabble rouser, you want to make a difference, right? Block off the goddamn traffic. Take over the local bridge, okay? Go stand on the bridge, form a link chain 5 rows deep at least, and block off the traffic and stop them people from being able to go across the bridge. That's protest. That's disruptive. Instead of standing on the corner with your sign, your little cutesy sign that you want to be memeified for social media, take that sign into the middle of the street. And here's the thing, when you all are out in these streets and you're forming links, you have to be able to link your arms together, okay? You got to learn how to do that. You got to learn how to be strong with that. I don't expect you all to have the tubes and stuff that folks have used to do that. I don't expect you to chain yourself to things, although that's also another tactic, chaining, wrapping your bodies in chains and chaining yourselves. If you're going to be at the ICE detention center, be prepared for all the extra stuff, but sitting down, sit-ins are always like effective. Sitting down, they'll come and they are going to beat your ass. Like we're dealing with something very different now. So they are going to beat your ass. Be prepared to have your ass beat. But hold steady, okay? Hold steady with your people. You can fight, you can resist. we're not going to resist this fascist regime by being nice to people or by being so soft that we can't withstand getting our asses beat by the police, right? That's part of it. So that's something to think about. I hear you. You know, it said I'm always weirded out at protests where we're just on the sidewalk and people at the protest are taking pictures of everybody. Don't see the point because there is no point, right? People are saying like, oh, you know, it's a way to build community. You can't do that on your own in smaller groups. You can't join local organizations. You can't go to the library. You can't, I don't know, join the local YMCA. I'm at the community center. The old biddies love me now. I'm the Black girl. And I'm the youngest one there. I'm 46. They love me. We had water aerobics this morning. That's my new community. Love the old ladies. I don't have to go to a protest to do that, is what I'm saying. Okay. You can go to the capitals, go to your city halls, go to your state capital, form chain link groups around those, right? Prevent people from entering things. Protest, when you prevent people from entering and exiting, like the people that were sitting in front of the ICE vans and stuff like that, that's protest. There's one brave person that'll sit in front of the car and it does nothing because they can drive around. But what if you had 100 brave people willing to sit in front of their garages so those cars can't come out? Yes, they will try to run you over. They don't care. But are you willing to sacrifice your body in that way for the freedom you claim that you want? You say you want to fight fascism. I don't want to fight fascism that way. I don't want to get hurt. There's no easy path to this. There's no soft path to this. Okay? If you're going to go, I don't actually think you should go, but if you're going to go, at least make it meaningful. That's all I'm saying. So I just want you all to think about, oh, and finally, I just want to remind you all that every time you gather in these really large kinds of these large events, you are vulnerable to attack by the government. Now, people say, well, the government wouldn't do that to its own people. It's already doing it. And so the difference between the last No King's Day and this one that's coming up, the difference is huge. They have proven to us they do not care. And they are willing to do anything they want to U.S. citizens, okay? Just because you see them doing it to Black and brown citizens does not mean that they will not do it to white citizens. They will, okay? And they will hate the fact that you even showed up to this event because how dare you? So yes, you can expect them to be violent towards you if they want to be, okay? Again, I'm thinking about these major cities, that have been on Trump's hit list, especially the Democratic-run cities. They're definitely not playing with y'all anymore. I avoid those kinds of massive gatherings because, bloop, one drone, bloop, one little missile, one little bomb, and you're all done. And they won't blink. They will not care. Because who's going to check them? They have been trying and they've been testing the waters for the last couple of months. And no one has stopped them. This government is completely emboldened and empowered. No one has stopped them. No local police has stopped them. No Democratic mayor has stopped them. No governor has stopped them. Nobody in government is stopping them. The Democrats are just like, we can't do anything. We don't know. Nobody's going to stop them. And they're not being held accountable for anything that they're doing wrong. So why wouldn't they drop a bomb on y'all? Like, why not? You're enemies of the state. They have been ramping up this last few days. They've been ramping up this language about enemies from within, domestic terrorism, terrorist organizations, calling people Antifa and labeling Antifa as a terrorist organization. Again, you can I got shirts, I got merch. Go get if you're now part of Antifa and, go get a merch, like join the club because it's there. And how I pay my bills, because the United States government is trying to strip me of everything that I have. So here, go and buy the merch. But you all, like, the entire thing that's happening this Saturday, they're designating this as like domestic terrorism. And because they are designating this as domestic terrorism, expect them to deploy military force to stop you all. I wish you the best. If you were dumb enough to register for a protest, I wish you double the best, because you're going to need it. Something wrong with you. You wasn't thinking right. But at least put on a goddamn mask. Be careful, trumped up charges too. Yep, if anybody's seriously considering leaving the US, and if you have a criminal record, other countries can deny visas. Be vigilant. Absolutely. They don't want us leaving, because if everybody leaves, or if like the majority of population leaves, then they don't have workers and they don't have people paying taxes and padding their pockets. So they want to make it hard for Americans to leave, right? So people who are leaving now are basically like sneaking out in clandestine ways. But definitely be careful. Again, they've already set the stage, since they have designated Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, and they are saying that the No Kings protest is being organized by Antifa. Then each of the protests has been designated as a terrorist activity, which means that they are going to invoke their right to, deploy military to put down terrorist, activity. And so that's what you're walking into if you're actually going to like one that's in a place that's going to catch their eye. Okay, you being in West Bumblefuck, Nebraska, they ain't thinking about you. So go ahead and have a great bounty house time. But if you're in a major city, if you're in Portland, Los Angeles, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York City, Atlanta, etc., be prepared for that resistance. I say don't go, but you're going to go, because that's what you're going to do. But just know that they will read that as you participating in a terrorist demonstration, a terrorist organization activity. And all I'm saying is I wish that y'all actually were going to do some stuff that makes you worthy of terrorist organization activity, right? They call the martyrs in Gaza terrorists, right? They called October 7th a terrorist attack when it was merely a response to the fact that Israel had just killed 250 people and kidnapped and incarcerated and held hostage 8,000 more people. So they were reacting. They call that terrorism. They call Hamas, the group created by Israel and funded by Israel, they call them a terrorist organization, right? They can try to get rid of Hamas, but they'll create another organization to continue to do this, right? They always need an enemy. But anyway, y'all got it. Yeah, the governors, they want to flex. They want to be able to show, they all want to be able to kiss up to Donald Trump. They want to be able to show that they're fealty, that they're loyal to him. And it's really interesting because it's like that one parent who has siblings and then their family says, oh, you're too easy with your kids. You need to, you need to do whatever. And then that parent decides to become, more severe in their discipline and stuff just to prove to their family that they're, a good enough parent. I know that because I lived that life. So it's a very similar thing. And so they're going to try to flex and be like, hey, look what we did over here, Donald. We got your back. We love you. He's still not going to send you money. Shout out to Alaska, Lisa Murkowski. You sell out. Shout out to everybody in Alaska. Okay, that's enough. I just wanted to quickly just come on because I'm seeing a lot of talk about this and I'm seeing a lot of you saying that you're planning on going. And I just want you to be safe. I love you all. Let's be okay. All right. Let's take care of each other.